We're live. Are you sure, Michael?
Yes.
All right, folks, we are live. It is Wednesday night at 8 o'clock Mountain Time, and that means Elk Talk Live, question and answer, brought to you by the great companies of Bowtech, Leupold, onXmaps, Ripcord, Tightspot, Black Gold, Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. And this week, joining us for one of our supporting sponsors for this program is GoHunt.com. GoHunt.com right now has the 30-day free trial. You got to sign up before October 31st, and if you do, you're going to get 30 days to look behind the scenes to see the research tools that we use. So when all of you ask these questions about, how do I draw this tag? How do you draw that tag? GoHunt.com, their insider service, 30-day free trial through the end of the month. Anyhow, here's the deal. It is now, as all of you know, maybe you know, I talk about these 5 calendar periods of hunting season. Early season, that's gone. Pre-rut, gone. Peak rut, gone. We are now in post-rut. There are still a few bulls around, few that are hanging with cows. Some of the probably 2.5, 3.5-year-old, maybe a 4.5-year-old bull is hanging with cows. But the first shots that happen this weekend in Montana when rifle season opens, when Colorado rifle opens this weekend, whew, those bulls are going to sanctuaries. And I say many times that I believe, in my experience, the hardest bull elk to kill on public land is a post-rut bull elk. He's in sanctuary mode, he's by himself, he's not yet in all these big groups of well, not big groups, but bachelor groups where there's multiple bulls, say, anywhere from 3 to 7 or 8 bulls. He's by himself. He is tucked away someplace that is just ugly, nasty, not any fun to get to, and even less fun when you shoot one there. So that's where we're at right now. And we're going to be in post-rut for, let me look at my calendar, for about another 2 weeks. And then about November 1st, depending on what latitude you're at, what the weather is, it's going to shift over to late season. And around that time, these solo bulls that are in post-rut mode are going to start coming together in their bachelor groups. They're going to be a little bit easier to find. So, what do we got here? Oh, we're back in Bozeman, Montana today at our studio where we do all our editing and brainstorming. We got on an, I think, 17, 18-day trip. We went to Arizona. Shot a really nice elk there. You're going to see that on YouTube and on Amazon. Went to New Mexico, shot a pronghorn. Went to New Mexico, and we went there with the good folks of Leupold, Bruce and Tracy Pettit. And Tracy shot her first bull elk. So it was a great trip, but it's really nice to be back home. I slept in my bed, my own bed, for the first time in about 3 weeks. So I'm rested. I'm ready to go. We're not doing this in motels anymore. And production guy today is Michael. We gave Marcus the day off, and now we're just going to start plowing through questions. And how are we doing on questions, Michael? We got a bunch of them going here?
Yeah, we got...
When you get here's one thing that I just want to tell everyone, and we apologize that we can't always get to all of the questions. Between all of the Facebook pages that this runs on, all the live stream, the YouTube channels, it's just really hard for us to get to every question. So I'm sorry if we don't get to your question, and we're always looking for questions that are slightly different than maybe something that we've answered before. So first question is, and we've answered this quite a few times, but because I focused on the post-rut period, the first question is about hunting post-rut elk with a rifle. Calling, glassing, or still hunting. Well, calling, like I said, the bulls are now leaving, so your odds of finding an elk that wants to call back and forth to you, pretty slim. Glassing, yes. Post-rut bull elk, glassing is a serious, serious tool that you should have. Whether it's binos, spotting, scope, hopefully both. I have the BX4 Leupold binos, and I use my binos first. And then, if I see something, I crank up my gold ring spotter, and I'm checking it out as close as possible. Still hunting, if you want to do that, it's fun. You know, especially if you have snow and you can be following a fresh track, it's a ton of fun. But it reduces your likelihood of an encounter. Glassing is where you're going to see the most elk, the most bulls. So my favorite post-rut strategy is just getting up and glassing. All right. My favorite scope for the 7mm 08. So a lot of you know that I shoot a 308 and a 7mm 08. And right now, all of those Howl Alpine mountain rifles that I have, they are running either VX5 Leupold gold ring or a VX6 Leupold gold ring. And a lot of it just depends on what distances you shoot at, how comfortable you are, how big of an objective lens you want. Most of my rifles are lightweight rifles, so I use the lower powers, 2 to 10, 2 to 12. They're small, they're compact, but they're unbelievable optics. So that's what I end up using. You chime in anytime you want there, Michael.
Here's an interesting one. Have you ever shot off your trekking poles?
Have I ever shot off my trekking poles? I've not. I know some people do it, and there was a while where I was working with a company to try to develop, through the use of rare earth magnets, a little clamp that would fit on each trekking pole. And rare earth magnets are like glue once they stick together. And then you could adjust them, but I've just run out of time to work on it. So yeah, it's something that's helpful. For us, the way that we approach animals when we see them is we glass them, and we got to get set up and get a good shot. So it doesn't happen really fast for us. It always gives us time to find a rest, lay our packs down. You'll see a lot of times we'll be in prone or sitting position across a rock, across a log, and we've got our packs laid down with our rifle across the pack. So that's usually how we do it.
Here's one. I'm new to elk hunting, and people recommended that I check you out. What state and what time of year would you recommend that he start? So maybe like what state and what time of the year would you recommend a beginner?
Okay, beginning elk hunter, what state, what time of year should you start elk hunting? That covers a lot of things. I don't know what state you live in. I tell people if you aren't deep into the point systems and you're on a limited budget, I would strongly look at Idaho or Colorado, buy points in Wyoming. And again, I was talking about this Go Hunt system. It has details that will give you so much information about that. You probably won't be able to get through it all in your 30-day free trial, but I would look at those states to start with. If your budget allows, maybe start looking at states like Arizona. I would apply in New Mexico because New Mexico does not have a point system. So I've been applying in New Mexico for probably over 20 years. And if this is your first year, you have just the same odds that I have in New Mexico. Again, it's mostly about budgets. As far as time of year, depends on if you like hunting early with a bow or late with a rifle. That's really as complete of an answer as I can give to a very, very broad question in the short bit of time that we have here. Let's see.
Would you use calls in a late season Colorado rifle elk hunt?
Would I use calls in a late season Colorado rifle elk hunt? No. They're done calling. The bulls have moved off. I mean, I think this weekend the second rifle season opens in Colorado, and I think November 4th the third rifle season opens in Colorado. Those bulls on public land are pressured. They're gone. They're off doing their thing. Calling is really going to get you nowhere. So keep the calls at home. Don't worry about it. Someone here says, Randy, I just bought a VX3 with the CDS option, a VX3 being a Leupold VX3. CDS is the custom dial system that you see us use. They're just these little turrets that it's already got your load and everything there. You just range it with your rangefinder and dial it in. And the question says, the man at the counter did not explain how to get the CDS dial for my gun. Do I need it before or after I sight in? You get it from Leupold. There's information in your box about how to get it from Leupold. If not, go and Google Leupold. I think it's leupold.com. And you will be able to contact them, and they'll tell you how to get your dials. But there should be information in your box about how you get that dial. And once you get it and you pick your load, it is slick. And the reason I use it is a lot of times I'll have the gun, the rifle, all sighted in for me at whatever distance. I usually have 100 yard zero. And I'll have new hunters who've never shot that rifle. And I don't want to say, okay, hold 8 inches high or hold a foot high at that distance. I just range it and it says, oh, that's 270 yards. I spin the dial to 270 and hold dead on. There's never any of this stuff. So it's really, really slick. Let's see. Got a 4th season rifle hunt in Colorado. Tips on slopes for bulls and cows in mid-November. North slope, south slope, time of day. It doesn't really matter by slope. In 4th season, and since this is Colorado, go out to their website, Colorado Parks and Wildlife. They have an interactive atlas. And whatever unit you have, it's going to say, here's the summer range, here's the winter range, and the map will show you where the migration routes are. Now, if it's a really severe winter, they're going to be closer to the winter range using those migration corridors. If it's a really warm winter, they're going to be closer to the summer range. They're not going to be as far down as maybe they otherwise would be unless a lot of hunting pressure has moved them there. It's really not a north slope, south slope, east slope, west slope. It's just in this time of year, this is late season, they're still going to be in sanctuary mode. You're going to find bachelor groups anywhere from 2 to 7 or 8 bulls, and that's what you're going to be looking for. Oh boy, let's see. Man, there's a ton of questions.
How about this one? This one's kind of cool. How would you go about hunting elk in their bedding areas when you're not able to see where they went to bed for the day?
How would I hunt elk in a bedding area when I can't see where they went to bed during the day? I would not go in there. Hunting elk in their bedding areas is very, very difficult. They have, if you see where elk bed, just if you're ever out, look at it. They're usually going to bed in the top third to top quarter of a ridge or the mountain slope. They're going to be bedded somewhere where they have a really quick exit. They're going to be bedded where they can look down. They're usually going to be more than one of them. And they're going to be bedded where the wind is coming over the ridge and creates this kind of, I don't know what you want to call it, an eddy effect. And so they're going to be able to smell anything. And it's very, very tough to hunt them in their bedding areas. What I do when I see, okay, they went into this big chunk of timber and they bedded, I sit there and I know that sometime just before dark, they're going to be coming out right near there and they're going to be feeding. I stay there knowing that I'm going to stay until absolute last dark or until I kill this thing, and I'm going to be walking out with a headlamp. Any elk hunter who leaves before that who maybe they're not comfortable in the dark or they don't feel comfortable walking out with a headlamp, you are leaving at the prime time. When you see them go to bed, wait them out, especially in these post-rut and late seasons, and the odds are in that last half hour, you're going to get your shot. Maybe you don't get your shot that day. Maybe you come back the next morning and you catch them as they're going back into their bed again. But now that you've found them, you've seen them go to bed, that is the biggest part of the process. Now you've found them, the easier part is going to be waiting them out and shooting one of them. Someone says, Randy, please stop saying how great Arizona is. You know what? All the Montana guys are like, quit saying how great Montana is. But all the New Mexico guys are, quit saying how great New Mexico is. You know what? There is so much great hunting out there in every state. All these western states with all this public land, just go and do it. It doesn't matter what state. I don't care if it's bow, muzzleloader, rifle. It doesn't matter. Bulls, cows, public land, private land, guided, non-guided. It doesn't matter. Just go and do it, and don't worry about what state. So, how would I approach a late season cow hunt in December and January? Find the food, you're going to find the cows. We've talked about that in past episodes, but it's very, very important to focus on food. Year-round, cows are focusing on the best food. Find the best food on the mountain or in that entire range, and you're going to find the cows. Let's see.
Will hunting pressure kill any chance of elk bugling in the second cycle?
Will hunting pressure kill the chance of any elk bugling during a second cycle? So sometimes the cows don't get bred in September, and then come October, they come into cycle again. And we ran into this in Arizona and New Mexico in the last 2 weeks, where there are still some cows that are cycling through. And when you can find one of those cows, you will find some elk possibly bugling. Now, as quick as the shooting starts, they're like, they zip it up and they're gone. At least the smart ones. The dumb ones, well, that gets bred out of or shot out of the gene pool because they keep bugling and there's guys there with rifles and you don't live real long. Bugling during rifle season is not a behavior that allows you to pass on your genes to the next generation. So it does impact how much bugling you're going to hear. As quick as there's a lot of shooting, a lot of action in the woods, the bulls pretty much head off and say, you know what, it's just not worth it. So how do we go about changing the shooting hours in Nevada? I don't know. If you live in Nevada, that'd be up to you. And what the person's referring to is, in most states, you can shoot a half hour before sunrise and a half hour after sunset. In Nevada, it's a half hour before sunrise, but you have to stop at sunset. So you lose that really, really good half hour of shooting light in Nevada. That's the law. I just go by what the law says. Oh, if I had to choose a once-in-a-lifetime bull elk hunt, what state would it be? It depends on a ton of factors. I don't know. It depends on if you like to archery hunt or rifle hunt or whatever. Most people, if you ask them that question, it would be Arizona, Utah, or Nevada. Hard to beat any of those answers. I've had the good fortune of hunting all of them, and they were fantastic hunts. That said, I'm looking at the bulls that were killed on general tags in Montana this archery season. I've seen some killed as general bulls in Wyoming this year in archery season. Crazy, crazy how good a quality can be out there if you work at it. So it's really what fits your budget and what fits your schedule. All right, do you plan to hunt and use llamas in the future when entering the backcountry? I think this question is about, right now out on our YouTube channel, we have this live hunt, or this day-by-day hunt, where we went into the Wind River Range of Wyoming and we used llamas. A guy named Bo Beatty, who owns Wilderness Ridge Trail Llamas, came with us. I will be using llamas anytime I can get them from Bo. It is a game changer, at least for me. At this point in my life, I'm going to be 53 in about 3 weeks. It takes me a lot longer to recover. Carrying the heavy loads wears on me harder. Llamas look like they're going to be part of my future. We're thinking we need like the Fresh Tracks llama, Fresh Tracks Fred or something. And we should put a GPS collar on them where you guys can see where Fred's going. I don't know. We'll figure something out. But
will bulls use the same sanctuary every year?
This is a really good question. Will bulls in the post-rut and late season use the same sanctuary every year? Yes, they will. That's why never tell your friend. Never take a hunting buddy to a sanctuary location. Never. Don't tell your brother-in-law. Don't tell your coworker, because you have solved something that is going to pay dividends every year in the late season and the post-rut. Sooner or later, those bulls are coming into that sanctuary. And if you start telling people, guess what? It's not going to be a sanctuary elk are comfortable with after, I don't know, you show up, oh man, your buddy brought his coworker, and that next weekend, that coworker brought 3 guys. Don't tell anybody. In my will, I might will my sanctuary locations that I have marked on my onX system. Maybe I'll will those to my son, or maybe I'll auction them off to charity. But right now, I don't share those with anybody. And you shouldn't either, because year after year after year, those are the spots where you're going to kill public land bull elk in these last 2 periods of the calendar. Oh, let's see. Man, we got a lot of them. How often do you run into landowners who insist you are trespassing when you know you are not while using my onXmaps system? I don't run into it that often. I hear stories about it. I probably encounter that every 3 or 4 years. The onXmaps system, it's updating these state maps all the time. There's a lot of times, if you're familiar with the West, back in the days when they used to run fence lines, They were fence lines of convenience. In other words, they might go around this rock or this ridge, or they might cross the creek at the shallower water. A lot of fence lines can be off. Now, landowners have become accustomed to that forever. And so your GPS is saying, oh, I'm on BLM. Well, the fence is over there. It can create some conflicts. Odds are, every time I've done it, my onXmaps system is the correct system. It tells me where I'm at. I can count on it. Where you see section corners, there's a pin in the ground, there's a survey marker of some sort. I can very often walk up and find that section, that corner pin. It's so accurate, very, very accurate. So if someone's trying to buffalo you like that or bluff you out, odds are you're in the right, and just say, you know what, if you think so, call the sheriff, call the game warden, have them come out here. But and also, if you are getting the onX app system for your smartphone for this jobby right here, not the chips, but the app, use promo code RANDY, R-A-N-D-Y, and you're going to get 20% off those apps. There. Made it worth your time to watch this today. So, do I use trail cameras? Do they ever get stolen? We've covered that in the past. Montana, I just found out when I answered this a couple weeks ago, I said Montana doesn't allow trail cameras. I guess there's been some changes to that I wasn't aware of. Have I ever had them stolen? No, because I don't own any. So, someone says, hey Randy, are you having a good season? If you watch the movie Tombstone like I do, and you like Doc Holliday, and he looks at Wyatt and he says, Wyatt, we are rolling. That's how this season is going. We have killed an elk on every hunt. We've killed an antelope on every hunt. We're just getting lucky. I'm sure we got the last half of the season coming. We're going to run into some tough luck, some harder hunts. But right now, things are going great. Keep it that way.
What are 5 things you'd make sure to take with you on your first ever archery bow hunt?
5 things I would take on my first, that I wouldn't leave at home on my archery elk hunt, my first one. Well, obviously I'm going to take my Bowtech Rain 7. It's going to be decked out with, my Tightspot quiver and my Ripcord rest and my black gold sight. So I'm not leaving that at home. I'm not leaving my onXmaps system at home. You see us, I never, ever leave any of that at home. Those are the absolute basics that I would never leave at home. Now 5, I'm going to have some sort of hydration system, whether it's a water bladder, whether it's a water filter. Never going to leave home without that. And then I never leave home without what I call my Get It Done kit, which is my Mystery Ranch pack has this, they call them compression sacks. They're about this big, and they have a zipper in them. In there is everything I know I need. If I kill an elk, I can take care of it, I can process it. I've got all my knives, my gloves, my whole works. If I grab that bag and put it in my pack, I know I have everything I need. So those are the things I would never, ever leave without. I'd go hunt in sandals and flip-flops before I'd leave some of that stuff at home. That said, I would never elk hunt in sandals and flip-flops because I use Canatrack boots. Everybody knows that, and that's just true what we do. I've been doing this for 10 years now. Before we started the TV show on these platforms, I was hunting these multiple western states for another decade before that. When we do our bag dump videos, if you go out to our YouTube channel and look for our bag dump videos, we just take the bag and we dump everything out. And there are so many things that we show in there that I just use them because they work. I've had other companies come and say, oh, we'll pay you to use that. No, your product doesn't work this good. So for me, I'm kind of an equipment snob from the standpoint that I'm not going to use it if it doesn't work. There's no amount of love or money that's going to get me to use something if it doesn't meet the demands that our hunting style places on the equipment. And I've had stuff break, and my camera guys can tell you that when something breaks that Randy's using, the language needs to be edited. I'm sorry about that, but I grew up in a logging family, and it's just kind of how life is when stuff doesn't go well. So, all right. Is Rex Creek in Idaho good for a cow elk hunt? I've never hunted it, but I have friends that have, and I think you might mean Tex Creek. It's Rex Creek. I might be confusing this. I shouldn't say. Personally, I don't know. I'd leave that question to some Idaho guys. Let's see.
How do you like the Gerber Big Game Vital?
Oh, man. Someone must have seen us using the Gerber Big Game Vital. It's the new replaceable scalpel blade from Gerber. Everybody who sees me using it is like, how do I get one of those? Well, you go find a Gerber retailer who has it, and if you get it, you are going to say, why didn't I have this before? How did I live without it? Gerber Big Game Vital. I use it. I love it. I just used it on 2 elk on our last road trip. Next Monday, we're doing a moose hunt here in Montana. My son Matthew has a moose tag, and we're going to be carving on that thing with those brand new, big, sturdy, firm Gerber Big Game Vitals. Get you one. Let's see.
A lot of people are asking about bullets. So in general, like, what are your 3 favorite caliber types?
My 3 favorite calibers?
Yeah. And I guess that could translate over to like elk
Yeah,
hunting.
so I'm going to say my 3 favorite cartridges. Calibers are the diameter. Cartridge is the case. If you watch our stuff, I shoot most of my elk with 308 Win. I shoot Nosler 165 grain partition bullets out of it, Nosler factory ammo. Probably my next go-to that you see us use a lot, I have a 300 Win mag. My son loves the 300 Win mag more than anything. And in that, we shoot 180 grain AccuBonds, Nosler AccuBonds, bad medicine for elk. Or we shoot their E-tip bullet, which again is serious, serious elk medicine. Now last week in New Mexico, the Leupold crew, they shoot a 338. And they have a 250 grain AccuBond. And that rifle that they bring with them on hunts with us has shot 3 elk, all one-shot kills. Amazing, lethal, 250 grain Nosler AccuBond. It would be hard to beat any of those. For me, I prefer the 308 because I use lightweight rifles. I use the Howl Alpine Mountain Rifle. And when you're mountain hunting, 2-3 pounds on a rifle, after the course of a week of hunting, it makes a difference. And the 308, those of you who study cartridges, that's a short action chamber. So you can do that action in a 308 and you can save some more weight. Some of the bigger cartridges, you have to have either a standard or magnum action, which adds quite a bit more weight to your rifle. So for me, it's a 308, 300 Win mag, and 338, strictly for elk medicine. But if you go out to our YouTube channel, we've done a video called Selecting Your Elk Cartridge. And in there, we get into great detail about number 1 is shot placement. Number 2 is quality bullets. After that, anything from probably a 25 caliber on up to however big you want to go. Whatever works for you, whatever you have. If you're a whitetail deer hunter coming out west and you say, all I have is a 270 or a 280 or a 30-06, those kill so many elk. Just use it. Don't go buy a new rifle. Get great ammo. Make sure your shot placement is good, and you'll kill every elk on the mountain. Oh, boy.
In your opinion, what is the best feed on the mountain for post-rut bulls?
What's the best feed on the mountain for post-rut bulls? That's going to depend on where you're at. I would tell people, go and read Jack Ward Thomas's books about elk and elk ecology. There's so much information about how elk feed, what they need, what their desires are, how they select food. They are grazers primarily, which mean grasses. You get to places like Nevada, some places in Arizona, where there's not a lot of grasses. In the late season, they'll be eating juniper berries. The stuff that elk will eat is amazing. Cliffs Rose, all kinds of stuff. It depends on what is available in the area you're hunting them. And I would talk to biologists, I'd talk to range managers, and learn as much about elk as you can, because after a while you'll be able to look, oh yeah, that's the best food on the mountain. It might be grasses, but you might be hunting in one of these arid places where there's not a lot of grasses. Okay, are they going to prefer some sort of shrub, some sort of browse, what's available? If it's a drought year, is it there? There's no standard answer to that question because it varies depending on what latitude, what elevation, what other food sources are available. They love aspens. When I was in Arizona last week or 2 weeks ago, they were just plowing in the aspens. They will eat these little aspen shoots. They'll eat the leaves. They'll eat anything that aspen provide. So it's just something you're going to have to figure out. Someone says, I hope your son gets a good moose. So do I. Thank you.
A bunch of questions about GPSs. What do you think is the best GPS for your money?
What is the best GPS for your money? Right here. It's your smartphone. A lot of people, and go out to onXmaps.com, and they have all the videos about how you can use their app and the GPS that's built into your phone. And so many people say, well, if I don't have service, how am I going to use it? Well, you save the map offline, you put your phone in airplane mode, and it uses hardly any battery, and your battery will last a long, long time, and off you go. Your GPS is still running when you're in airplane mode. So, right now, I wouldn't spend the money on a GPS. You see I have a big Garmin Montana 600. Save that $400 or $500. Get the app and put it in this phone here. That's what I would do. I'm an old school guy, but they've got me converted. So what's the best? Oh, let's see. How do you keep batteries from going? How do I keep batteries going on my smartphone? There's all those small chargers, Mophie and what's the other ones, Michael? There's all kinds of those little.
So many.
Yeah, just Google smartphone charger. They usually come in a little pack, almost the size of your cell phone, smartphone, and they'll usually recharge your phone 2 or 3 times before they go dead. So that's how I do it.
Here's an interesting one. Do you see estates changing the way they run issuing tags because of point creep, etc.?
Do I see states changing how they issue tags because point creep? All right. Now this gets into a technical term, not very technical, but a unique term. A lot of you listening are like, what's point creep? Well, all these states have either a bonus point system, a preference point system. First, you need to find out what your state has, or the state you're applying in. And what it means is every year you say, oh, I've got 10 points. Last year, 10 points got you that tag. Well, you think you're going to get it, and all of a sudden you find out it took 11 or 12 points. What it is people are jumping in who've just been buying preference points along the way. They've never actually been applying for the tag. So the person asked, do I think states will change that? No, I don't. I think states are making way too much money on the bonus point and preference point system. They're selling nothing other than hope. They're only going to sell so many tags, but they can sell all kinds of points. So I don't see states changing that. If you really want to study and an understanding of how these point systems work, we told you how GoHunt.com has joined us as one of the supporters of Elk Talk Live. Go and try their 30-day free trial. You'll be amazed at what information is out there and how elaborate and complicated some of these Western state point schemes can be. So, let's see. Holy smokes, there's a lot of these. I am sorry, folks. These are scrolling through so fast, it's hard for me. So, all right. What do you got over there, Michael?
So a bunch of people have been asking with the rifle seasons opening up.
Rifle seasons are opening up. Yes, they are.
How do they deal with hot weather?
How do you deal with hot weather in rifle seasons? You know what? Elk are just like us. They don't want to be exerting themselves with all their winter clothes on, i.e. their winter coat, out in the heat. So you're going to be looking in deep canyons. You're going to be looking in northeast face slopes. You know that when it's really hot, they're going to head for the timber right away. If you read books about elk physiology, elk anatomy, you're going to read where elk spend more energy staying cool in hot weather than they will a lot of times trying to stay warm in cold weather. They have to thermoregulate because right now they have already put on their winter coats. You know how the bulls kind of go from this reddish brown to all of a sudden they're like this white kind of bone yellow color? That's their winter coat. And if it's hot, you're going to find them in canyons and you're going to find them in the shade. And you're going to find them moving at that very, very narrow window of time in the morning and a narrow window of time in the evening. So how do you go about looking for elk sanctuaries in an area that you haven't hunted before? Go out to our YouTube channel, Randy Newberg Hunter. We've done a whole series of videos called E-Scouting, E-Scouting. It's like electronic or desk scouting. There's a whole series of videos out there that could answer that. Most every place we go, I've never been to. Where we were at in Arizona, I'd never been there. Never stepped foot in it. But by using the system that we talk about in those YouTube videos, we had a pretty good idea where we were going to start. And we had a really good idea where we thought the sanctuaries were going to be. Oh, wow. Was Unit 61 in Colorado worth your points? A lot of you know, if you saw the episode last year, well, we filmed it last year, it's airing this year, and it's out on our YouTube channel. Oh, also, it's on Amazon Prime. If you are an Amazon Prime member, you can watch all of our episodes for free on Amazon Prime. Or you can watch us on Sportsman's Channel, Sunday nights, 9 o'clock Mountain Time. But I burned 19 points for a third rifle tag in Unit 61 of Colorado. And if you go watch that episode, I think you will agree it was worth the points. Do I want to wait 19 years to draw again? No, but I would say, let's see, I'm going to be 53. I'm pretty much one and done with my Unit 61 Colorado hunting, so, oh well.
Did you shoot a bull on your peaks hunt?
Did I shoot a bull on my peaks hunt? And what that person means, Arizona, the area we hunted is Unit 7E. It's called the Peaks, the Kachina Peaks Wilderness area. Yeah, we shot a bull the second night. That's going to be on the live day-by-day hunt is going to be, I think we'll get it up on YouTube, probably by mid-November, maybe late November. Cool hunt. Thanks to all of the great people, Arizona Game and Fish, the Forest Service. That is such a cool conservation story. I'm excited to tell the story of that hunt. Let's see.
What specific garments do you wear this time of the year to stay comfortable?
What specific garments do I wear this time of year to stay comfortable? Always the base layer is a merino wool base layer. You know that I wear Sitka gear. That's always my base layer. In New Mexico, we were at 10,500 feet. We'd get up in the morning, it's 25 degrees. I know I'm going to be hiking to get to a glassing spot for an hour, hour and a half. A lot of times I'll just go with that merino top. It's a long sleeve zip tee, kind of like this shirt I'm wearing here. And if it's really chillier, I'll put a vest over the top. But when I head out, I want lightweight. I want that perspiration. I want that sweat to get away. And I know when I leave the truck, I'm going to be a little bit cold. But within a quarter mile, guess what? The blood's flowing. I'm exercising. I'm working. We're ready to go. I'm not cold at all. When I get up there, I usually get all of my layers off except that merino zip tee. Let the wind blow. Get as much perspiration as possible off me, and then I start layering up depending on how much how cold it is, and what the wind speeds are. For me, my uniform, if you want to call it that, is a merino zip tee, usually followed by some sort of Primo Loft. They make this Calvin Light jacket, Sitka does, and that's if it's really cold. And then over the top of it, I put my Jetstream jacket. My elk hunting uniform from Sitka is my Jetstream jacket, and my base layer, or my lower layer, is the Timberline pants. Great layering system. I've been using it for years, and it works.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but people really want to know what kind of footwear you use sitting around in camp and driving.
All right. What kind of footwear do I use? Because some of you have watched my videos out on YouTube about keeping your feet warm. Do not wear your boots from camp or from the motel or from home all the way out to the trailhead. Sometimes you got to drive for a half hour or 45 minutes. If you put your boots on at home and you drive for 45 minutes, when you get to the trailhead, your feet have sweated, you're already behind the game. You have moisture in your boots. Don't do that. Here's what that's my camp shoe right there. That's what I wear. And then when I get to the trailhead, I throw on my Kenetrek socks and I throw on my Kenetrek boot. I put the gaiter over it, off and going. So I use the non-insulated Mountain Extremes from Kenetrek. They work amazingly well. Someone wants to know, do bull elk huff and snort like mule deer? They don't huff and snort like anything like that. They make a barking sound. Just almost sounds like a dog that was trying to alert you. And you'll know when you hear it. It's different. But when we were in Arizona 2 weeks ago, The bull I shot, when you hear it on video, I thought it was a burro. I told the camera guys, I'm like, I'm not going in there to shoot that thing. That's a burro. How embarrassing would it be for us to walk up thinking we're going to shoot an elk and there's a burro? Because there's a lot of wild donkeys and burros in Arizona. Well, after a while, he started making a little more noise, and instead of being, he actually had a little bit of bugle to him. So it's just, the elk don't count on every elk making the same noise. But when you hear that bark, you will know for sure that, hey, that was an elk. That was their alarm bark. And when you hear that, the gig's pretty much up. Let's see. Boy, oh boy. A lot of people asking me about Bozeman questions. Are you going to do a Western Whitetail trifecta with Mark Kenyon next year? You know, some of you've listened to our podcast. Mark and I keep talking about possibly doing that. We might, if it fits the calendar. How much weight / elk would a Mystery Ranch Metcalf handle? We recently packed out the front and rear quarter along with full backstrap on a standard pack frame. It was tough. It can handle more than I can carry. I've carried out a boned out front and a boned out hind quarter. As far as the pack, it just fits you perfectly. It's just what my legs can carry, especially if it's steep, if it's side hilling, if it's going down a steep slope. They're amazing packs. There's a reason we use them. I started buying them, I think I bought my first one in 2006 or 7. Great packs. They will carry more than most human bodies really want to carry. How many rounds in your Howl rifle do you consider it to be broken in? Howl sends you a break-in recommendation. It requires 20 rounds. It requires 1 round and treat the barrel, and they give you instructions on how to treat the barrel. Let it cool. Another round. You do that for the first 10 rounds, and then you do it in 2 shots. Again, clean and treat the barrel, let it cool. And when I say let it cool, let it get to actual ambient temperature. Their process that they suggest takes 20 rounds of ammo. And after that, you're pretty much ready to go.
When are you going to be in Alaska next?
When am I going to be in Alaska next? Next May. Myself and my buddy Mike Spitzer have bear tags up there. So we're going to be up there next May. And then if all goes well, I'll be up there hunting Sitka blacktail in August of next year also. I love Alaska. Great place. Do you use red or white light when hiking in and out? No, I use green light. When I use red light, I can't, it seems like it's darker. I never walk in using white light. I'm not the scientist who says this, but I believe the scientist that animals don't see red or green light. I use the light green light. That illuminates things in the dark for my eyes way better than red light. So I walk in with a green light. And if I get shot by somebody while I'm walking in at low light wearing a green headlamp, I don't think it was on accident. How reliable is the roadless layer on onXmaps? Very reliable. Use it. You'll like it. Let's see. After your last podcast and knowing how deaf you claim to be, are you going to use Walker game ears? No, I'm not. I'm just going to keep doing my thing. I know that's probably stupid. I have a group that's trying to get me some custom ear protection devices, and we're working on that. So hopefully we can get that done and I can save what is remaining of my hearing. So what do you got, Michael? You got anything more? We've been cranking on this. I've been trying to answer them fast, folks, because I'm trying to get through as many as possible, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate everybody who does this. And those of you who are here listening, I hope you'll share these live broadcasts with your hunting friends. They're brought to you by these companies. They want you to have this information for free, and it wouldn't happen without Bowtech, without Leupold, onX, Go Hunt, Tightspot, Ripcord, Black Gold, and the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. So if you want to subscribe and if you want to be notified, text Randy, R-A-N-D-Y, to 313131. If you're in Canada, 393939. So please support those companies if you have a chance. Go out and take advantage of their promo codes, just about all of them. My promo code, if they have one for me, is Randy, R-A-N-D-Y. Go Hunt has the 30-day free trial. A lot of good stuff going on there. So hopefully you will do it. Have you shot an elk with the E-tips from Nosler? If so, what caliber? Yes. I've shot them myself, I've shot them with the 300 Win Mag 180 grain E-tip. Let's see. Also 168 grain E-tip in my 308. They are devastating. They are like serious, serious bad elk medicine. Nosler E-tip bullet. It's a non-lead bullet. Really, really good bullet for elk. Have I ever hunted southeast Idaho during elk, archery elk season? No, I've not. Got a lot of friends who do, but I haven't. So, let's see. Someone who watches us. Hey, Bob, thanks for asking this. How's Uncle Larry doing? Does he have some hunts coming up? If you watch our old episodes, my Uncle Larry and I, we have so much fun together. He's been battling lymphoma now for years. He goes to the MD Anderson Clinic in Houston for this experimental treatment. He's doing well. Next year, every year, we always say, well, you got enough points in Wyoming, you're going to draw. And we keep saying that. Every year, he's 1 point behind. That's what's called point creep. But next year, he and I, possibly my son, we are going to be in Wyoming elk hunting. I told them, you guys do a party app. I just want to come along and have a good time. But thanks for asking, Bob. He's doing great, especially for what he's dealing with. So, all right.
How long does it take you to quarter an elk using the gutless method, trying to get as much meat as possible?
How long does it take me to do an elk using the gutless method? If you go out to any of our platforms, you'll see that we've done this video. It's about 40 minutes long, called the gutless method. If you go out to our VHX, Randy Newberg VHX site, you can download that for like $2.99. For me, if I'm all by myself, I can do it in about hour and 10 minutes. If I have help, we usually get it done in about 30 or 40 minutes. If you have a couple guys who've done this before, know how to use knives, they're prepared with high quality knives like we use, the Gerber Big Game Vital, if you got great game bags, and you think it through in how you lay the elk out, oriented uphill or downhill, all those things, two guys should be able to get it done in 45 minutes, and you'll have every piece of meat you can think of off that elk. So I think we're going to have to call it a day, folks, or a night. Really appreciate all of you tuning in. Next week when we do this, we're going to be doing it for Moose Camp. So hopefully we have a big moose story to tell you when we do this next week. I don't know if we will, but let's hope so. And thanks again to all these companies, Bowtech, Leupold, onX, Go Hunt, Tightspot, Ripcord, Black Gold, and Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. Thank you all, and thanks for watching. I hope we covered it. It's hot in here. We got too many computers running. Got all these lights on me. I'm sweating like a hillbilly at a hoedown here. Whew.
All right, we're good.
All right. So